This digital resource has been designed to promote SMSC in secondary schools for teachers. Designed and created by Yasmeen, Akhtar and Yasser Ishaque.
We will start this video by reading one of the quotes that has inspired this presentation. Kant's quote can imply that the young individual develops over time. Therefore, without the right requirements of SMSC, the child cannot develop in a cohesive manner.
This video will consist of 3 aspects. Firstly, there will be an example of a starter activity. Next, the head teacher will provide a critical feedback to both teachers. Finally, we will explain how SMSC can be applied cross-curriculum.
Hello Miss A and Mr. I, please take a seat. So I observed your starter activity and I really liked how you combined 2 separate classes into one. I also like how you chose an activity that presented the similarities and the differences of the 5 pillars of Islam with the 10 commandments by using a starter activity of 2 circles where the groups were told to individually compare the similarities and differences into groups of 4 within themselves. So tell me, why did you do this specific activity? Well, head teacher, by referring to Hardy, he argues that the importance of RE creates an element of participation and a setting for a child to communicate in the lesson. We thought this would be fitting for an activity where the student would work in large groups and discuss the 2 religions further. Interesting, Miss A. So why did you decide to do a discussion activity?
Well, the research developed by Koji in 2000 explains how a discussion has a 50% retention rate for students, rather than a formal lecture which has a retention rate of 5%. Me and Miss A reflect Koji's study by allowing both our classes to join up into one large group. This created a classroom environment to be active in which the students were encouraged to discuss with fellow pupils.
Interesting. I completely agree with you there. I think this is really important. So what about SMSC? How did you incorporate social development? Well, head teacher, personally for me, social development is to do with communication. Communication with your peers through a group activity, a group discussion or a group seminar is vital for personal growth. According to the 1999 Ofsted Handbook, social development is defined. This is further reiterated in the 2003 Ofsted report. So far, social development has been explored in more depth. This digital resource will now explain why social development is important. Social development is significant in the RE setting due to the environment and the curriculum of RE in creating an opportunity for students to express and benefit from other students' opinions and beliefs. Skeet agrees with this view and uses the concept of modern plurality. The theorist's meaning behind this concept is that social development is beneficial to the child in creating free speech. The theorist believes free speech is important for the student in creating a wider understanding to the different issues and political stances developed in society.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs relates to the social development of the child. His diagram consists of 5 levels. Level 1 relates to social development in which the child has to be in a comfortable environment, for example, adequate sleep and not in a state of hunger. Level 2 explores the child's safety, for example, does the child feel safe at school or at home? Level 3 explains how a child should feel accepted by family and friends. Level 4, the child should feel appreciated both in schools and at home. This can be through teachers, family and friends. Level 5 reflects when a child should be able to successfully build their self-esteem and self-confidence in a classroom environment. These 5 levels are fundamental in developing a child in a social environment. Without Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a child cannot engage and interact in a society adequately. Emotional intelligence is also important to social development. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and handle and appropriately express our emotions. At the core of emotional intelligence involves how we think, feel, and behave. Emotional intelligence is increasingly thought to be a key ability that influences the success of all children, adults, and organizations. It can affect a wide variety of skills, including academic success and social interaction.
Well done, two teachers, for showing me the importance of social development and how it's important in Ofsted reports. You also demonstrated the pupils' needs in understanding the pedagogical way by showing me the theoretical approaches of Maslow's hierarchy, which has illustrated to me how social development can be influential on the emotional needs of the child with reference to emotional intelligence. However, I need to tell you that there are certain limitations towards your research in social development. For example, you have suggested social development is an intrapersonal communication that enables students to critically think and share each other's views in the lesson. On the other hand, I do agree with this view, but I think it can create an issue in the classroom. For instance, it has the potential for clashing, in which a situation can arise where a student may not like another student's view. Although this did not happen in your class, this situation may arise in another lesson. I also thought it was really interesting with your STAR activity and how it was a new way for students to learn about the 5 pillars of Islam and the 10 Commandments. However, which other aspects of SMSC have you explored? Well, head teacher, you have made some important points, and we are trained to stop any confrontations, and we always tell our students to respect each other's opinions. Also, as RE teachers, we are aimed to hold confrontational debates. We also think we have incorporated certain SMSC, such as spiritual development. Okay, so tell me about spiritual development.
To me, spiritual development is a personal matter. However, schools can encourage pupils by helping them explore their emerging consciousness, spirit, and inner self. Students should be encouraged to develop rational ideas, feelings, and emotions about the key questions of life, such as death and their own experience. According to Ishaque, spiritual development allows students to respond to their family, social boundaries, their own experiences, and the thoughts and ideas of others.
The importance of spiritual development, according to Ofsted, is conceptualized as an exploration into the different beliefs and experiences of the child. It also reflects a different learning of faiths and values that the young individual may hold. Spiritual development also refers to the idea of personal growth, in which the child is learning more about their own values and has developed a reflective light into the societal issues and political views. This is further reflected by Robertson's argument, in which spiritual development impacts the child, as it creates a way of experiencing the world and provides a way for the young individual to articulate the different social issues they are surrounded by. Therefore, Robertson's view is important and can link to the RE lessons to create an environment where the student is challenged by different experiences that are beyond their own thoughts and processes. The 2004 Ofsted report identifies the following examples teachers can use to incorporate spiritual development in their lessons. Myself and Mr. I have incorporated this Ofsted report and the argument of Robinson in our starter activity. Students were encouraged to partake in a starter activity where they would engage in the differences and similarities Islam and Christianity hold. Thus, this created an opportunity for the student to explore another religion and different cultural traits.
Bruno argues the individual is constantly learning. This point is important as it can suggest the state of the learner's knowledge is constantly changing, in which the young individual engages in different views and opinions by participating in class activities. Therefore, spiritual development is designed to expand on the student's knowledge, in which the student engages in ideas and views that are new and unknown. Furthermore, this systematically builds and evolves the student's awareness of religious studies and builds on new experiences through different insight and perspective of religion in RE. Furthermore, spiritual development is not necessarily a religious experience, but rather about encouraging empathy and personal reflection towards each other and enabling pupils to build their own identities.
Well done. You two have shown me that you have incorporated other aspects of SMSC to your STAR activity, and I also like how you've included different students from diverse backgrounds and religions as well. However, it can be argued that SMSC can be a disadvantage. If we examine the 1944 Educational Act, spiritual development or religious education is left as a vague concept, meaning that there's no direct representation to the way teachers should implement this to their RE lessons.
Yes, what you have said is true, and raised some important limitations behind SMSC being implemented in RE lessons. For example, it could be difficult to incorporate SMSC in an RE examination for Year 11 pupils. The examples highlight the different ways teachers can construct lessons, whether it's in RE lessons or other subject lessons, to the reference of spiritual and social development. Therefore, as argued before, social and spiritual development are interchangeable concepts and can be incorporated not just in RE lessons, but through other subjects and the overall school ethos.
Yes, definitely. There are important issues you have raised there. So do you think overall SMSC is important?
We believe each teacher is unique, therefore they all have their own unique method of including social and spiritual development into their lessons. However, whichever method is used, the result must develop and shape the child's learning, and we think this is important.
Really? Explain more. Well, me and Mr. I discussed this before, and we looked at the range of research. One important research we looked at was the National Youth Culture Survey in 1990. The research interviewed students from the age of 11 to 16. The interviews wanted to question the different ways students constructed their own identity. The results found that students' identity were easily influenced by the media, celebrities, and social media. This is dangerous, as a young person's identity is easily constructed through these media and the celebrity life, instead of being socialised through social and spiritual development. Therefore, it is important for schools and for teachers to shape the student's identity in a positive and constructive way. Interesting. So overall, they're searching for themselves, would you say? For example, searching a philosophy of their own? Yes, definitely, which is why SMSC is important. Although it can be argued to be a contested meaning, SMSC provides a framing, an outlet in the RE setting where the student creates their own perception, a way for them to find out their own philosophy. Therefore, SMSC is not a concept that is just relatable to religious education, but it's a concept which needs to be incorporated throughout the school curriculum. For example, social development is more than just children or pupils interacting with each other, and for the teacher to facilitate this, but rather it's about social pedagogy and emotional intelligence.
To sum up in conclusion, this digital resource has explained what social development is and explained its importance in schools by linking to the Ofsted documentations. When trying to fully grasp social development of pupils, it is important for teachers to acquire adequate knowledge of social pedagogy, emotional intelligence, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all of which are designed to help and support teachers to adequately understand their pupils' individual needs. This digital resource has also described the importance of spiritual development and linked this to Ofsted reports, a detailed example of how spiritual development can be incorporated not into RE lessons but other subjects, and the overall school ethos has been provided through the work of Blaylock.